Hello everyone, and welcome to a short introduction on how to install FieldOpt on Ubuntu 18.04. My name is Carl Fredrik Berg. First of all, let's find FieldOpt. If you open a web browser, type in FieldOpt and GitHub, one of the first hits should be a link to the FieldOpt repository on GitHub. So if you click that link, you will get into the repository. You will see that this repository is a subfolder in the Petroleum Cybernetics group, which is a group at the NTNU University, which has developed this software. On this page, you will find either a link down here, or if you go a bit higher up, you will find this compiling, which is just a text document. And if you click that text document, you will find a description on how to install FieldOpt. Let's go back again first, because we want to start by cloning it. And if you're using command line, if you're opening a command line window, we can clone it using this web interface. First of all, you need to find a place to store the files. I will create now a directory called lib for library. And if we go into this, we can then clone the repository into this subfolder. You could either do it from this description earlier on, or we can go here, copy the link or this path to where this repository is, right? Git clone, and then this path. It's also here possible to download it as a zip and then just unpack the zip folder. That will amount to basically the same thing. The only thing then is that you're not getting this direct link to the Git repository so that you can update the repository if there are updates to the software. Let's just do this, git clone, and then the address, and it will basically copy all the files in this repository to our hard drive. So this is now stored inside a folder called FieldOpt. And if you're going into this folder using this change directory command, you will find that all the files you see here are the same files which are on this web interface to the repository here. Let's click this compiling on the compiling again, which is just a text file. The text file is shown here. And we are using Ubuntu 18.04. For 16.04, it's very similar, but let's now, you can check the differences further down if you're using 16.04. The first thing to do is to install some common software packages which you may or you may not have. So if you're just copying the command to install all those software packages, you can just mark the text and use your middle mouse button to glue it in. Then you have to write in your sudo password, and then it will install all those packages. I basically had all of them from before, so not much happened from on my side. But if you don't have those packages, this might actually take a while. Then cloning down the repository, we have already done that. We have also already gone into this FieldOpt folder, And when we're inside this FieldOpt folder, we want to include all submodules. You will see here, if we're going back to the highest level here and going into FieldOpt and then further into third party, you will see that there are a lot of third-party softwares which is needed for this software. But those are not in this repository. So if we're going here also into this FieldOpt and third party, and for example rpoly++, you will see that this folder is empty now. Here it's just a link to another repository. If we click it, we will go to that repository, which is also on this under Petroleum Cybernetics Group page. But we basically want all those files in here too. So if we're going back again to where we started, which was this FieldOpt folder, and we were at this stage in the description, then if we're adding this command, it will basically copy in all those submodule folders into, it will clone them just like we did before with the FieldOpt repository. It will now clone all those third-party submodule folders. And if there were other submodules too, it will clone those too. But in this case, all the submodules are inside this third-party folder. So you will see that it now clones the different third-party softwares which is needed here. Some of those you might already have, and it's possible to use those softwares if you already have them, but it's probably easier to just clone in everything so that you know that you're using the right version which is needed for this FieldOpt software. Then we need to compile all those third-party softwares. So you see that the next step is to go into this folder, FieldOpt third party. And here we want to compile all those softwares. So we create a folder called build, a build folder. And we're going into this build folder. And there we run a code or a software called CMake, which will generate a make file. And you see that we have already, if you didn't have this software from before, that should have been installed in this first step here. So now you should have this CMake software, which is generating a make file. And when you have generated this make file, that is basically a recipe for how to, which it says here, to compile the softwares and to, with this make install, copy the compile file into library directories so that it can be used by the overall FieldOpt software. So first we then just write make to compile the files. And this might take a while because now we're compiling quite a few third-party software. So you see it's quite nice though, because you can follow the percentages on the left-hand side here to understand how far you have gotten in this compilation process. But yeah, it does take a while to compile all the third-party softwares. While this one is compiling, we can look at the last steps here. That will be to make a folder similar to what we did now, a build folder, but now for the FieldOpt, so at a higher level in the structure. And inside there again run the cmake script to create a makefile and then make it. But here it will not be a make install, we will just get a binary file inside the cmake build folder. So let's look at the progress. There's no, yeah, it's now almost complete. And the fan on my computer is speed up because it is taking quite a bit of computational power actually to do this compiling of the softwares. We will see in the end here, we'll probably get no, or let's hope we're not getting any errors. Yeah, there's no errors in the end, so then we can run make install, and then it's basically creating links to all those third-party libraries that we have compiled now. Then going up 2 folders, and here we're creating a build directory. You can basically call it what you want, but let's follow the instruction. So then we're creating this directory as we're told to do here, and then we're running the cmake script again. And again, it's setting up a make script, which when we run this make script then will compile the FieldOpt software. And you do see that this is significantly faster than compiling all the third library softwares because, well, this is just one software and it's not extremely big either. So this will be this should be significantly faster than what you did before. And as you see here, this is basically the end of the description. I pushed the pause button on the video there because this actually took significantly more time than compiling the third-party libraries. But now we're close to the end of the compilation. And if you follow this compilation, which you probably don't because that's not too exciting, you probably should go and take a cup of coffee or something, but you will see that it's compiling all the different optimization routines that this FieldOpt software is using. It's also using a significant time on compiling software for constructing well paths, this well index calculator, because in this software you are also able to optimize on well placement. So there it was done and was no errors, which means that we should have, if we're listing what's inside this folder now, you see that it's quite a lot that has been built here, and inside this bin folder for binaries, we do have this FieldOpt, which is the binary, which is the actual software. So if we try to run that software with, for example, a help command, you will see the different input going into this software. We will do that. We will use the software in another video. But the last thing we can do now is to then get this FieldOpt software so that we can reach it from anywhere in our file structure. So if we first write pwd, you will see the full path for this folder. We can copy that one and we can go into, I have a folder called binaries, the top level, and everything inside this binary folder will be accessible from everywhere. So here I'm creating a symbolic link, ln-f gives a symbolic link to the FieldOpt software. So now I just glued in this path I had up here and added FieldOpt and dot for saving the symbolic link in this folder. Enter, then you will see that I have the FieldOpt as a symbolic link in this folder now. And that means that I can get this FieldOpt software from any folder on my computer on the command line later on. So if I try here again, you will see that the FieldOpt software is accessible from any folder. So that was all for compiling the FieldOpt software. Good luck.